Hello! Yes, and welcome to our Objective 3.1 sample problems, where we're going to do some more practice using the properties of exponents to simplify expressions. So let's dive right in. Let's look at letter A here. So if I have x to the third y to the third times 3y to the negative second over 3x to the third. Well, first thing I noticed right away is we can divide some things out, can't we? So x to the third, x to the third. There's a common both the numerator and the denominator. They can go. We also have 3's common in both. So with that being said, I'm left with just y to the third times y to the negative second. And 3 plus negative 2 is 1. So this answer will be just y. And there we go. All right, let's look at letter B now. Y x to the negative second, 2y to the third times x to the negative third. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here, remember the order that you do these in doesn't matter. There's no order of operations here or something. It's whatever you see, that's what you do. So I see we have multiple y to the thirds in our denominator. So let's combine them. So we'll have y times x to the next second over 2x to the negative third and then y to the sixth. The next thing I see here is these negative second, negative third. Those need to flip-flop. All right, since they're both negative, we need to send the negative, x to the negative second goes to the denominator, x to the negative third goes to the numerator. So I will have 2x squared y to the sixth here. All right, and then we can simplify here. 3 minus 2 is 1, so I'll be left with just 1x in my numerator. So I'll have y times x over 2y to the sixth, and then I will have 1y that can divide out. So I'll have x over 2y to the fifth. And that right there would be my final answer. Very good. Lastly, looking at letter C, well, okay. First thing I see is I have a to the negative first and I have a to the positive first. So negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. We can get rid of that. So all I have left is 3b to the third over b. 3 minus 1 is 2. So this one would just be 3b squared. Beautiful. B-E-A-U-T-I-F-U-L. Let's look at D. All right, get that 0 power property. Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. So this 2ab squared all to the 0, that becomes 1. A to the 0, that becomes 1, which means I'm left with, oh, look, I even have 2 3's that can divide out. I'm left with only b over a squared. That's it. That's my answer. Done. Easy. Okay, now we have a similar situation with what's happening with letter E here. Notice I have x to the negative third, x to the third. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. X to the 0 is 1. So I'd be left with just 3 over, this parentheses, 2y x to the squared all to the negative first. So if this is all going to the negative first, it all needs to move up to my numerator. So I'm going to have 3 times 2y x squared. When I do that, I'd be left with 6y x squared. Now, I like to write mine in alphabetical order. So 6 x squared y would be my final answer there. Okay, letter F, last one, a little challenge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by simplifying what's on the inside, and then I'll take it to the exponent. So I see here 3 divided by 3. That's gone. I have v to the 0. I have u to the 0. Those can go. So what am I left with? I'm left with u squared v to the negative first over u to the negative second times 2v. Okay. And all of that's being squared. Oh, let's get rid of this exponent now. So I'm going to multiply all of my exponents times 2. So think I have 2 to the first, v to the first here. So now I'll have u to the fourth, v to the negative second, over u to the negative fourth times 2 squared v to the second. All right, now I have some negative exponents that need to switch. This u to the negative fourth needs to go up. V to the negative second needs to come down. So when I do that, I'll have u to the fourth times u to the fourth over 2 squared is 4. And I have v squared times v squared. When I do that, I would have u to the eighth over 4 v to the fourth. And at that point, I have only one of each term. I only have positive exponents. So that right there would be our final answer. Okay, I hope that was helpful. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out to me. And otherwise, go ahead and get started on those practice problems so you can make sure you're doing everything correctly. This is Mr. Carter signing off. I'll see you next time.